Hey all, my name is Waylon, and I'm the founder of Elephant Journal, and we've just come in from the cold, and I am here with a really lovely interview about the new year that is coming soon, the Lunar New Year, and I'm also here with the lovely Kelsey, my beautiful wife, and her beautiful sweater, and most exciting of all, our little munchkin, their little hat. And we're all going to hang together. And here's Winnie. So it's a little family affair. And we are talking with Anjie, who may have already requested to join. One of my favorite guests ever. So we're going to talk about the Lunar New Year and what that means for you and what that means for all of us collectively. Hey, Anjie.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year almost.
Happy New Year, Angie.
So
Yeah,
when is the Lunar New Year?
it's Tuesday, February 17th. And then I saw that Shambhala Day, Losar is on the
Yeah.
18th. I wonder why it's on the
Tuesday.
18th.
Well, like I said, I think Tibetan and Chinese are often like one day apart.
You sometimes it's like a month apart though.
Yeah, I
Oh,
agree,
wow.
actually. No, that's true. So who knows?
I think this says a lot about I feel like this year is kind of like even the beginning of this year is so hard to nail down, right?
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
It's
So,
very snake-like, if you will.
yeah, so the last year was the year of the snake, which was
Mhm.
incredibly smooth and easy and fun for everybody, right?
Oh yeah, everyone, it's very interesting. So almost everyone no one has said that last year was wonderful. Even like you guys or some other friends had babies. They're like, even though we had a baby, 2025 sucked. It
Yeah,
was so hard. It was such a
yeah.
uneaseful year.
I wrote a deeply meaningful article. You might have read it about like 2025 and like looking back and whatever, but the title was something like 2025 sucked.
Hmm.
I mean, it wasn't that complex of a title for me to title. It wasn't like Shades of Grey and like, it was just hard. And
Yeah.
yeah, of course, good, like you said, good things happened, but I don't think, in the era of our Lord Trump and, Gaza and climate crisis and just personal turmoil and change. The shedding of the snakeskin, right? I mean, you should
Hmm.
tell us all about this. So we're coming out of the snake year. So tell us more about what we're coming out of, if you will.
So yeah, because also interestingly enough, more I think because it's later and a lot of people had such a difficult 2025. So many people have asked me, like, what can I do right now in this transition? They recognize there's this bardo, right? This in-between space that feels important to pay attention to. And I think that since we're leaving the snake year, so we are talking about like the snake sheds its skin, that's very important to think about. Also, it's much more of a subtle, kind of intuitive, but not a very direct year. So there's a lot of contrast with the horse energy. Um, I
And
think.
before you move into the horse, I think what I find really validating and relaxing about when I read about the snake, it makes me feel so much better about 2025 being hard because 2025 was about letting go, about shedding, um, you can tell me again, but turmoil. Like, and when you read about 2025, you're like, oh, right, okay, that is what was happening. And it's not like just a destructive energy, it's a letting go and a transitioning and opening up for new things. But it's just hard.
Yes. Well, because it's also very indirect, right? Like a snake doesn't, the
Mm.
snake doesn't take the shortcut or the direct route. The snake really takes a long way to maybe to get to its destination if it ever gets there. So
Yeah.
so there's also kind of painful part about letting things go. And, to the question that's asked in the live, someone just asked if there's a few more weeks to shed energy. And yes, I mean, these transitions don't happen instantaneously, right? They're slow, but technically the switch to the horse year is February 4th, and then it's celebrated on the lunar new year, which is February 17th on Tuesday. Um, and so even that, there's not really a exact date. So it gives us an opportunity to start to question like how these transitions happen. So yes, of course, we have time. And also there's a story that I love to tell at this time of year about specifically about the horse and the snake. So there's a story that there was the great Jade Emperor, and they invited all the animals in the kingdom to join this race to determine the order of the zodiac animals. And so so basically the snake curled up around the horse's leg and rode the whole race with the horse. But the horse had no idea. And then at the last minute, right before the finish line, the snake jumps off the horse, comes in sixth place. The horse comes in seventh. In the meantime, the horse is really startled. So that actually kind of gives us an indication that, like, what are we carrying in from the snake year? What do we, and there could still be a surprise that happens in this final transition that we're not sure about. But also there's a gift that the horse carried that snake all the way through. The snake would never have come in like sixth place without the help of the snake. So there's a lot of teachings about like, can we use the energy that's coming in, like all the teachings that we received and all the challenges we have, and how can we give that some different kind of energy, like what is energy that's presented to us, and can we take the reins, can we direct it, can we be more intentional, and also not jump on the bandwagon and be kind of like a thoughtless, mindless person running in circles with all this energy, which is the potential that a horse has, right? A horse can walk with blinders on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, at least with the help in quotes of its human overlords. I think horses naturally, obviously, wouldn't be blinded in that way.
No, but a horse can also be very startled, very easily, and the horse can also is very sensitive. It also wants to be led. Like my partner, my feng shui partner that teaches with me, she's a equestrian, so she is really like in tune with horses. I don't know if you guys are,
Yeah.
but
Horses.
okay, like
Did you
she's
grow up riding and stuff?
In the summertime, yeah.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
grandparents had a horse as
yeah. I
well.
grew up with horses, and we owned a horse back when Boulder was affordable and you could do that.
mm. And what kind of insights do you have like from owning a horse and loving horses, right?
I mean, for me, I remember riding bareback and like how sort of intuitive you are or have to be with the horse in order to like ride as a unit, you know?
That's good.
Yeah, you
That's like
kind of
how,
like feel, I think of the feeling of like pressure on the legs and like interacting with the horse in that way, and like you're physically sort of riding together and feeding off of each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how Angie. I know you're a Shambhala Buddhist student, so right.
Yeah, I always think about that. There's that story of where was it the Sakyong that was riding with the horse, and he um he had to trust the horse, right? Like um there was some kind of thing they had to cross over, and the Sakyong could have saved himself, or he could have gone with the horse, but like the horse was like, we're in this together, like, and then there's also all those teachings about synchronizing your mind, like with the example of the horse.
That's what I was going to bring up. Is Trungpa Rinpoche would talk about how he even said as extreme a statement as you cannot be a warrior, a peaceful warrior, meaning brave and kind and vulnerable in this world if you don't ride a horse, or if you don't have that experience, or at least if you don't know a horse. Um, but yeah, just that feeling, like Kelsey was saying, of you have to be directly in touch with the feeling of the horse and how it's
Mhm.
feeling. And like you alluded to, Angie, they're easily startled, even though they're so big, they're so gentle, and they're so careful because their legs are so vulnerable. So yeah, it's a real, like, the metaphor in Trunk Rinpoche would talk about is that you have to be in touch with every detail of your life intimately, and then that trust develops, and then kind of auspicious coincidence, which we've been talking about, manifests once you're in direct contact with your life. You're not shying away from the difficult parts. You're just really like in the flow with your horse.
Yeah, and when that happens, it can be very powerful because a horse has a lot of energy. People are really excited about the Lunar New Year.
Hmm.
I've seen a couple theories on that. Someone said maybe that because we're in the place that we are, especially in the US, that everyone is kind of idealizing Asian like community-based societies. So like people are in the mahjong and like
Instead
like
of fat,
drinking hot
like
water.
so like down on ourselves, we're like, there must be some wisdom or guidance elsewhere because we're messing it up.
Well, but it's also idealized because that's not completely true, right? So,
Sure. Yeah,
um,
that was the big
but
problem back in the 70s is, all the Western students would always want to like dress in an Eastern way or whatever, adopt all the kind of cultural um, trappings instead of practicing the heart. Like Trungpa Rinpoche was always like, forget all that stuff, practice meditation, sit more, meditate more, sit more.
yes, exactly. Removing that exotic part of it and
Yeah.
really getting to what the core of it is. And so in any case, I think there is some kind of connection. People are also very attracted to horses, and I think that
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
looking we are looking for a little bit of more straightforward support, I think, this year. And but what I'm seeing a lot is people are like, oh, it's all about speed and strength. But I really like this idea of focusing on, this year could be it's a fire horse year.
Yeah. So what does that mean? So most people may know, but there's 12 animals, is that right? And then there's 12. Oh no, how many signs are there?
There's 12 animals and there's five elements, which
Five
creates a
films she had.
yeah,
And
60-year
they go,
cycle.
so now we're in the fire horse. So the fire horse would be different than the wood horse or the metal horse. So what does the fire horse mean?
So the fire horse, it's a yang fire year. So it's like fire, it has the qualities of being all consuming, a lot of inspiration, passion, movement. But it's not like a little fire, like a little candle or a little incense stick. It's like a bonfire. It's a big fire. So,
Ugh.
which seems appropriate because it feels like the world is already on fire, right? So,
Right.
um, so there's a lot of big transformation. It can be all consuming. So it's a very strong energy, as with the horse. And the horse is also related to fire element too. So it's a very like fiery, strong, a possibility for a very speedy, passionate, transformative year. I think people want to know a little bit about what's happening, right? Because so much is out of their control. So there's this ancient wisdom that looks at life in like 60-year cycles and has been around very long. So there's some strength in that. So like the fire horse could be likened to the energy of a thoroughbred. And I kind of look at like that could go one way or it could go another way,
Yeah.
right?
From my time riding horses, which was a lot back in the day, thoroughbreds they're beautiful and they're fast, of course, but they're probably almost most neurotic and kind of flighty, jumpy among the horses. Like we always loved riding Arabians. because they were so beautiful and much more kind of relaxed and grounded.
Yeah, my partner says something like it's kind of like a chestnut. I don't know what that means though.
Yeah, the color, yeah. The
Yeah.
color of the horse. Yeah.
Yeah, but she said it's just she's like it's like a thoroughbred, like a racehorse. And another aspect though, if speaking to the neurotic part that I think is also very interesting is that you would never keep a horse on its own.
Ah,
So, or else it would get neurotic. You would never just have one horse.
interesting.
And and I think that this also points to an importance of focusing on community this year.
Love that. Love that. Love that.
Yeah, because when a horse is on its own, it gets neurotic. It needs to be like if we think about wild horses, they'd be in a herd. They're herd animals, and
Mm,
they need to be around other horses or other animals to have some sanity.
I love
And
that. So
yeah.
let's have uh, and the public can join in Ask Dr. Angie. So one of my inspirations moving to Indianapolis, and I say this with humility, really, because it's a new town and there's a lot of great things going on here, and there's tons of community and there's tons of things going on all the time. They're super social. But one thing I feel like I'm missing personally is there's all kinds of great little bookstores, but there's not like a third place community that I've seen that doesn't involve alcohol or anything, that just everyone can go. And so I really have been wanting to start like a space, that maybe would have some books from some local folks, and we would have some zero waste stuff, and it would have some, coffee, and it would have some just a space basically for people to hang out. So that feels like what you just said. That feels like, wow, what a great aspiration for the year. The horse wants some community. The horse wants some to be in the herd. You know, people want to connect in this crazy time, the fiery time. So what do you think?
I think that's a great idea. I think that's what a lot of people are longing for, especially now too, is that we went through a period of time where we were all so disconnected. And we were all so disconnected from each other. And we have to really make a big effort to connect. And so many people want to have connections that like I love the idea that there's some coffee, some books, but there's no real agenda because we've been so agenda driven. Like people are freaking tired now. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I'm exhausted, I don't want to do anything.
But
Like so many people.
what do Americans do? I can't speak about other countries, so I'm not trying to pick on Americans, but I know Americans. What do we do when we're overwhelmed and exhausted? We sit down, we get on our phones, we doom scroll, we look at
Mhm.
TV for 5 hours straight. Neither of those things involve healing or rest. And both, I mean, they can. I don't want to be too mean. Like watching a good movie with popcorn and a loved one. We love
Yeah.
to do that. But like, and honestly, I find a lot of inspiration on Instagram sometimes. But instead maybe we can find ways to actually relax. Find healing, wonderful things to do with your tiredness.
Yeah, I think there's a big longing for that because and I think also the idea of the horse, the metaphor or the archetype of the horse lends to that too, because a horse doesn't really need to do very much during the day. It's happy to just be hanging out, right? And then if it needs to, it goes and runs somewhere if someone asks it to do something for, and it supports the community. Everyone has enough stuff. Everyone has enough on their to-do list. Everyone has enough like activities. Everyone has enough Zoom classes that they never watch that they have
Right.
recordings of. Everyone has enough information. You can look up
Yeah.
anything, but really know nothing, right? Um,
Is there
so,
is there something to be said about like I know you said horses
oh,
most of the day, we think of horses as running really fast in one direction, sort of single
mhm.
pointed, and but they do a lot of like being during the day, right? So it's almost
Yes,
like people are kind of burnt out on doing, and it's like, is there some way that the fire horse can teach us how to be in a sort of more direct or like attuned way, if that makes sense?
yes. I think that's exactly the teaching of the fire horse. Or the horse is like, you know what? You can be like exactly as you said, Kelsey, be during the day when you need to for a reason. You can start go. You can go as fast as you need. You have that power.
As someone who like has done a million boring, so-called boring
Yeah.
Buddhist programs for months and ever, we don't need to be entertained all the time. Like a little boredom is healthy. That enables us to actually relax, cool boredom and all that. Once you relax through hot boredom, which is that uneasy feeling, you get to actual relaxation. So boredom actually is a gateway to your what you need, not something to entertain away.
Yes, I agree. Oh, I noticed in the chat someone mentioned like in terms of this year having more grassroots community organizations and more communication. And I think that is important because that still lends to this idea of community. And I really appreciated what Kelsey said about less, it's like having more time to be and chew on things, which is what horses do.
Yeah,
And then they can have the power when necessary. And we, as humans, we can decide to um, we could decide to lead the energy in the direction that we wanted to support us because horses made humans the life of a human or human civilization much more advanced, much more strengthened it, and we can use that power to help us. So it doesn't necessarily have to mean like, oh, you have to go as fast like a horse. I'm looking at it as, what do you want to harness? What can you lead towards with mindfulness? And what can you do to guide the energy and the strength that you have at your disposal this year in a more productive way? Because you can just run in circles if you want, or you could be more mindful about it and lead that energy in the way that you wish it to go.
I love that. Yeah, and I think it's sort of sad that when we think of horses, we just think of them running. Like horses are not a cowboy movie running across the plains. Horses are horses. Horses want to hang out and eat their grass and like, frolic, and they're not just, I'm vegan and all that. They're not just to be like serving us and running around working hard.
Yeah,
They're
right.
beings.
They're being so I think there's this importance there, and I've seen so many people like writing about, oh, it's just about speed and this and this, and that's true, but you could also look at it as, how can I harness the gift of strength that's been offered to me in a really mindful way that is supportive, and then also not have to jump on that bandwagon of like literally running in circles, right?
Yeah. Yeah, my experience with horses is like that gentle power. Like they're
Mhm.
powerful, they're fast, but really they only do that when they need to. They're really gentle and they're really strong, really powerful. And the more, like Kelsey was saying, you're intuitive, you're in touch with the terrain of every little detail. So that probably carries over to the year, right? Do you think?
Yes, I definitely think so. And I think also just because as a whole, I mean, literally everyone I've talked to is just tired. So I think that what we need less of
We have a
is
newborn, we're
speed.
not tired at all. Yeah.
Oh, so how is that going to work to create a space? Are you gonna, well, I think that maybe that you need help. You need support. You need,
I need help. Yeah.
Totally need help and support. Yeah, we're in the 2 week, like the first 2 weeks without family here, which is, I think, as a postpartum doula, one of the like most sort of under-resourced times because, kind of the excitement of the newborn phase with like the community and stuff is still there, but it's, kind of past, and then family that's been supporting eventually goes back home, and then the sleep deprivation is like compiled at this point, right?
Compounded, yeah.
Compounded.
oh,
But yeah,
Yeah.
so help and community and like asking for help from places you might not normally are kind of themes that we're working with in real time.
But yeah, and I think you were also asking about like creating a third space
That
kind of
too,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere that families and babies can be.
Yes. That's one of our dreams about it is that you could like, I guess there are some places in Indy, which is so cool before my time, but during her years here, where you could go get coffee and you could drop off your kids with YMCA or whatever. And,
Oh yeah.
like just things that would support all people, whatever age, elderly, young, you know, a lot of our favorite businesses always have like some wooden kids' toys and books at the bottom, like
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca's and Boulder. And, I love that.
Needhammer. Needhammer.
Need Hammer. Yeah, a great cafe that we love, help, employs the homeless. So just having like, I love how you said it, like no agenda, like really having just the mission is really just to be
Mm-hmm.
kind of helpful and fun and a space for people, not a particular like we want to make 35% profit on every a lot of that will happen organically. Like my favorite book is business book ever is Small Giants. If people haven't
Mm.
read it, everyone should read it. If
Okay,
you
I'll write it down. Small giants.
it'll change your life. It's amazing. And it really is sort of the if you build it, they will come kind of thing. Like if you really follow your mission,
Mm-hmm.
success will happen. But the coolest thing about the book is it's written by a business writer. It's not written by a hippie. It's not written by a spiritual activist or whatever. It's written from a business point of view, and it profiles 18 different businesses who have done that. So I think the whole people are always criticizing capitalism. I was brought up Buddhist, and we're big on like drive all blames into accountability. I'm like, you're part of it.
Mm.
No one's forcing you to buy your crap on Amazon and destroy the planet. It's just
Yeah.
easier to do that. It's harder to go to the local grocery store, Good Earth, in our case, in Indy,
Mhm.
and bring your own tote bag and buy organic glass and skip the plastic and, maybe be vegan if you don't want to hurt the animals and you want to heal the planet. But whatever, like just be a benefit. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's harder, but you can get bulk, you can make it affordable. We just never blame ourselves. We're always like, oh, it's Elon Musk's fault, which it definitely is. But like, okay, so they're destroying the planet and they're selfish. What are you going to do about it? You going to give up your own power? Jane Goodall, her middle name, Goodall, Willa Goodall Lewis, our little baby girl here. Jane Goodall was always like, never give up hope. And the reason you never give up hope is because you can make a difference. And all of us times a billion can make a difference.
Yeah. So I think that's a great teaching, especially because community is so important. And even
Yeah.
doing small things for your community and being a part of it and just knowing that making one small difference can make a big shift. That's really important.
It really can. It's not like one or the other is. We can blame the huge corporations and the billionaires who are destroying the planet out of their rapacious greed, but we
Mm.
can also take responsibility and say, I can do my little piece. I'm not going to give up my power. And in fact, community altogether has immense power.
Yeah, so like it's making me even think about that idea of the fire, right? So, you know how I said like yin fire is like a small little candle, and say like yang fire is a big bonfire or wildfire. And so even one little individual flame could create something big in a good way or in a bad way, right? So you can be ignorant and it can create a lot of destruction and be all consuming. Or you could be thoughtful and it can be something that's very healing, like the sun, or shine light on so many people, right?
Love that.
So it's how you want to harness it. So again, with the idea of the horse, we could connect to that power of the horse, like Kelsey was saying, like we connect with the legs of the horse, right? Or how Rinpoche was talking about how we can synchronize our body and mind, right? And we have these extra powerful legs that can carry us through next year. But how do we want to train it? Do we want to trust it? Do we want to investigate how we're connected to it? And can we use this as a partnership that gives us strength, or is it something that will, are we going to continue to further like separate ourselves from others, get more neurotic, and create more destruction. Because that's also the potential too.
That's the potential with the fire horse, because the nature of fire can go one way or the other, kind of.
Yes, fire could be complete. Yeah, like even in a couple weeks, I'll be in LA, and it's like the anniversary of those fires there, and I'm gonna actually be doing a blessing ceremony for someone in Altadena. Her
Wow.
house burnt down.
Yeah.
She's designing a new one now, but yeah, like things small like that. I think in Altadena they said it was like an electrical spark, right?
I want to give a shout out to Amy DeBlest. You have been like
Mm.
really leaving great comments. Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, so what did she write? What?
Healing in community, she just said. But
Mm.
before I think she had a longer question that I was unable to
Okay, let's see. What
take into
what
my
would
puny mind.
Amy asked, what would be some negative attributes? Feel like we will miss out on things if we don't show up for events or online activity. Place where, okay, so I guess she's saying, I think the question is, what if you feel like you're going to miss out if you don't show up for everything? Well, I think that people are just plain tired and not showing. I don't know about you. Like, I'm teaching a class tonight at New York Insight, a feng shui class. It's so funny. There's like only 4 people on in person signed up, 4 or 5 people, and it's like 25 people online. So nobody
Okay.
wants to go anywhere. They want
Yeah,
the recording for later.
but that's kind of what I was trying to get at before is we we're tired, we're burned out, we're
We're
overwhelmed, we
tired.
feel hopeless and
Hmm.
helpless because
Yeah.
a lot of the news stuff, I think, and climate crisis and all that's real. And I think a lot of us want to ignore all of it and push it away, and a lot of us want to engage and be helpful. But
Hmm.
however we feel, we think what we need to do at the end of the day is not go out. We need to, we need to kind of zone out, watch a Hallmark movie, doom scroll on our phone, whatever. When really what we need often is not like low level relaxation, but like inspiring relaxation. Maybe go to a community theater, maybe, do something relaxing. You don't have to run around more, but like connect and get inspired. Think of the last time you got re-inspired about your life. It usually was when your brain was and your heart were lighting up.
Well, like they always say in the shower, but that's alone. But also simply, of course, taking a walk and
Yeah,
talking to a friend in person. I think
yeah,
that's what lots of people are longing for. And it is hard to get out of the house, I think, because we have these Zoom options now
yeah.
or online options now, or we can watch and anything we want is streaming now and we can get it immediately.
But I mean, you're incredibly young and lovely, but like you're old enough like me to remember we used to have very much fewer options in terms of what we watched, and what we watched was actually a whole movie,
Yeah. We
video,
went to like
a video.
Blockbuster or whatever
Yeah.
and got like and we had rewinded and everything
And
and
now I watch like 20 minutes of one thing and 10 minutes of another thing, and I'm working in between. I mean, I'm working nights, so it's like a bit of a special circumstance, but like it's way less relaxing. We have way more choices, but it's
mm.
actually more commercials, more monetization, more gamification. It's like we're being monetized at night by these Amazon and Apple and all these streaming platforms. Yeah, so connected, we're disconnected. So can you watch a full movie without, being distracted? Get your phone in a different room. Like I'm talking to myself here too.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, because it's so easy to give up on your movie because, like, oh, maybe I'll just watch that other one and watch that other one. I think that it goes back to, well, how can we tie it back in with the teachings of the horse, right? All we have to do is yawn
yeah,
and be simple. I mean,
yeah.
I think there's a key to simplification, and horses are actually pretty simple, right?
Kelsey was saying everyone should read the book Corduroy.
Oh,
Can you
I
see
don't know
that?
corduroy.
Well, time to read it. No, and I love what you said about like going for a walk or being alone. Like I definitely am not saying you have to connect with others. Robert Redford, I guess, in his dying message to his grandchildren said, "Go sit beneath a tree and listen." Like I think, Amy, who's been commenting, forest bathing, whatever it is, connecting with nature is definitely a connection, a re-inspiring connection. So whether it's alone in the bathtub or in a forest or just your neighborhood tree or whatever, or it's in community going to First Friday art event or whatever it is. Yes. Like find ways that re-inspire us.
Well, sitting with the tree is not being alone. You're with the tree. Taking a bath, maybe
Oh,
you're alone at home, but you're with the water.
Yeah.
You're with
oh,
another
it's a book.
living being or the
And
book, right?
I love to read a book in the tub. That's partly why I miss it so much. Because, you can't have your electronics. I mean, you can, I guess, but
Oh,
you
I
shouldn't.
listen to audiobooks. I
Oh, well,
know.
I think it's good.
It's a little
Yeah.
dangerous. Keep it on the side.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I really encourage, yeah, maybe try to just try to read a physical book or
Yeah.
magazine, like The New Yorker. I love to read The New Yorker in the tub because it gets wrinkly. So,
Mm-hmm.
Amy said dopamine burnout resonates can anchor in times of uncertainty.
So again, there's another teaching with the horse. See, the horses are like not too complicated. They're not thinking, oh, I wonder what Amy said about me. I think that did Amy misunderstand what I said? Like as opposed to like the monkey. The monkey, I forgot, Kelsey, are you a monkey?
That's me.
Yeah,
That's
see
You're
the
the
monkey.
monkey
remembering.
mind. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're a tiger, right? Okay.
Yeah,
So
look at you. Wow.
so monkey, monkey might be like, and even a real monkey, you can imagine a monkey's like, oh my gosh, like, how do I get to that? Like, how do I get to that banana? But what if they eat that banana? But I'm going to hit them with the banana, like they're thinking a lot.
All of the everything that could happen, like the monkey plays through in their mind just in case, right?
Right. And then, but the horse is just like, I just want to chew my grass and give me an apple and like, just tell me where you want me to go. Right.
Yeah, I mean, horses are, yeah, I mean, yeah.
And then also let's have fun doing it. Let's like run as fast as we can. Let's like enjoy the wind in our hair. So there's also like we can also simplify our lives too a little bit like that. We don't have to like the snake, also very like thought like manipulative, like serpentine, moving back and forth. How do I catch my prey? Like this is not what's going through the horse's mind. So we can also look at like what's the most important thing. Let's eat, let's run as fast as we can, let's have fun, let's enjoy life.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do we do specifically over the next couple weeks, if anything?
Well, I've been asking people, like when I've been teaching, to I'm asking people to sit down and kind of think about like what is it that they shed in the last year, what's transformed, and also what is still kind of there. Like if you remember that story about the horse being startled because the snake jumped off, like there might be still something that you haven't thought of. And you could even write that down and contemplate that, and you could even burn that piece of paper and let it go. And then to really think about like what is it that you want now to grow instead, that you can use the energy of the horse to propel you forward. So I think that's really important. And we have an elephant article with all the animals. And if you don't know what animal you are, you can find the year in that. So the rat is going to have a really challenging year
Okay.
because
Sorry,
it's
Rat.
rat is in the basically like in the most the most challenging position. Ox is also in a challenging position. So rat, ox, and horse will have a challenging year.
Really? The horse?
Yeah. Because people think, oh, it's my year,
Yeah.
it's a good year. But
Yeah.
no, it's not a good year when it's your year.
And then Amy just asked, because there is a window. Amy in the comments said, "What year am I? My birthday is today. So happy birthday, Amy. Cheerful birthday."
Oh,
But
happy birthday, me.
there's that transition month, right? So is she
Right.
snake or is it different?
So, Amy, what year were you born? So the transition happens on February 4th. So if you're born between January 1st and February 3rd, you're actually the year prior. So, and
Yeah.
happy birthday, Amy, by the way. So, for instance, if you always thought you were a snake and but you were born in January, oh yeah, oh my gosh, she's a snake. It's 1977, right? So Amy, you thought you were a snake, right? Because snake is 1977, but you're actually a dragon.
Wait, so is Leo actually a monkey?
No, I think we
We figured it
did
out.
that, yeah,
Okay.
the year
Yeah,
prior
we
with the
figured it out.
pig.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. So that's funny because I was just talking to my friend Yolanda who's born in the year she's born in 1977, but because she's born in January, she's actually a dragon and her whole life she thought she was a snake.
How do you like recommend that people kind of work with the energies of the animal in which they were born?